Good morning. Welcome back to the Roundtable. Great Barrington Public Theater is a professional equity company founded in 2019 with the core mission to develop and present new plays by Berkshire and neighboring area-based writers, actors, and crews. GBPT is up for 10 weeks this summer, 3 shows in the Daniels Art Center, Bard College at Simmons Rock. The Stones, a mystery, off-peak, a comedy, Just Another Day, a drama, and At the Mount in Lenox in August, Representation and How to Get It, a 3-performance-only, one-woman show based on the writing of Julia Ward Howe. They open June 15th with The Stones, featuring Ryan Winkles. To tell us more, we welcome Jim Frangione, artistic director, a great name in the theater, and as I mentioned earlier, one of the founders of this tremendous company. Good morning, Jim.
Morning, Joe.
Thank you very much for being with us. We also welcome Peggy Farr Wilson, a much-credited career actor, well-known and loved by Berkshire theater goers. She will be in Off-Peak coming up, one of the shows that we'll be talking about in just a few minutes. It's really nice to have you here. I'll start off by sending our condolences. I know your theater family was hit hard this week with the loss of Treat Williams, who was not only a great name in acting and in Hollywood, but especially in the local theater community. And I know you worked with him quite a bit. So send condolences. Oh,
thanks. Yeah, it's very heartbreaking. We were fortunate to have Treat with us at our benefit this past Friday in Great Barrington, performing a piece of a play about Ulysses S. Grant called Grant, An Evening with the General, that he and I have been working on for a couple of years. Just heartbreaking for all of us.
Well, again, we send our condolences. And it if anything can get us through, it's good theater and to spend time in a place where you're with other people having an amazing experience, and there are 10 weeks of cool things happening in Great Barrington as a result of the public theater. Jim, give us a sense of what it was like putting this particular season together.
Well, the 3 plays we're doing in the Daniel Art Center at Simmons Rock they're all new plays. The Stones, which is first up, had a production at the Edinburgh Fringe in Scotland last summer, and was brought to me by the director Michelle Joyner, and that's a play that we're really excited about. That actually opens for performances this evening. And the Leibowitz Black Box at Simmons Rock. It's a great play. It's a kind of an ominous mystery, a gothic thriller starring Ryan Winkles. And that runs from June 15th to July 2nd. And then Off-Peak is a terrific comedy that Peggy stars in by Brenda Withers, a Massachusetts playwright. And we'll have her with us in a little bit of rehearsal after, I think it was next week, we start. And it's a comedy that takes place on a Metro-North train liner out of New York City, where a couple who've had a relationship meet, and it's really terrific writing and a fun comedy.
What a great season. It sounds so fun. Give me a sense of how this fits into. As I mentioned, you've been doing this for a while, 2019, but of course you had the pandemic in the middle of it. So, but you've gotten 2 seasons in since then. What have you learned along the way?
I think the biggest lesson is that audiences are really hungry for new plays. People are looking for stories they haven't heard of or seen before, and we're hopefully giving them something to chew on. New plays are hard to find. Good new plays are hard to find, and I think we've done pretty well. Last season we had, I think, 6 plays. We had 5 world premieres this summer 3 really good new plays. So we're doing pretty well.
Is that I don't know how to ask this question now. Did you go from 5 to 3 because you could only find 3 good ones, or you just realized that that may be too much?
Well, the first 4 plays last summer were part of a solo festival, so it really was one kind of festival of shows of 4 different plays. Sharon Lawrence in The Shot about Katharine Graham. It was really a terrific. We kind of think of that as one big production. So we're back to kind of 3 major productions along the way.
One of the things that this festival celebrates, as I mentioned in the introduction, is, and you've touched on it in your answers previous, is the incredible talent that is in this region. What was the impetus for you to harness that and bring it and the people who are home and make them work while they're home?
Yeah. We celebrate the local. We celebrate the diversity in the local talent pool of the Berkshires and the region, and really the whole Berkshire region. We consider our region from Northampton to Bennington over to upstate New York, and there's a huge talent pool of playwrights and designers and actors, and we do our best to hire people from our region.
And it is never, I assume, and you also do it at a time where people are here and have some time, right?
Yeah, that's right. The summer is, it's our time to shine up here.
Absolutely. Peggy, let's talk to you about. Well, first of all, how many other productions have you been in?
I've been in the last 2 summers. I did 2 original plays by Mark St. Germain.
Yep.
And so this is my 3rd year running. I'm very, very excited to be back.
What keeps you coming back?
I love getting to work with local artists. Most of us don't get to work together. We're all kind of assigned to one of the theaters up here, and this is a chance that we all, from all the different theaters around, that we all get to work together. So that's my favorite thing.
Okay, I'm going to hone in on something that you just said, which is assigned.
Well, that's not the right word. We're associated.
Associated, but that is fascinating. You become part of a family,
yeah, and
then. And not that you want to, but breaking out of that, you have opportunities. They know you. There's a group there. It makes sense. And then yet there are other places to work.
Yeah, I'm an associate artist at Barrington Stage.
Right.
And so people say, "Oh, you're a Barrington Stage actor," which I am. I've done 21 shows there. But I also love working at this theater with different people too. We all want to stretch our, wings and work with each other because there's so much talent up here in the Berks.
Absolutely. Talk to me about Off Peak.
This is a wonderful play written for not 30-year-old actors, written for two mature actors. And we are not grandparents, and we're not dealing with Alzheimer's, and we're not, the nosy parent bossing our kids around, which is usually when you're 60. These are late 50s
right.
characters.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you get offered. And this is 2 grown-up people who are talking about relationships and love and all of it. And they have been apart for 17 years. They were a couple for a long time. They broke up and have not seen or spoken to each other in 17 years, and they're stuck on a train together that breaks down and have nothing. That there's just no other way. They can't talk it out. So there's a lot of resolution. There's a lot of talking and forgiveness and laughter and arguing, and it's really it's a jam-packed hour and 20 minutes, I would say.
Off Peak runs July 6th through July 23rd.
And with the great Kevin O'Rourke, who's my partner in crime with this.
Yes, Kevin O'Rourke. And very funny.
Oh, it is funny, but it's also sweet, and it's I think it's everything. It's everything, which is what I as an audience like to see. So I'm really excited we're doing this.
You mentioned this, Jim, at the beginning, but tonight the Stones opens. and runs through July 2nd, an American premiere, a special work.
Beautiful piece of theater, and not something you would our audiences would ordinarily see in the theater. This has a kind of a chilling kind of gothic mystery. There's some great design elements. There's music, live music on stage, which kind of gins up the mystery a little bit, maybe even a little fog and a little stage fog. So, but it's a really, really interesting piece of theater that's that had a really fun production across in the Fringe, and we're thrilled to do the U.S. premiere.
Well, what is it? We talk about your mission, but ideally, and I realize that it can be many different things, but ideally, what happens with a show from after it ends its run with you?
I think the writer, if the writer is with us, and usually the writer is there in the room with us. We don't have the writer with us on this on the Stones. But we hope the play moves forward and has another life beyond the Berkshires. And that's been the case for many plays that we've produced. I think 2 plays we've done last summer are also having future productions in New York, and right now at New Jersey Rep, hopefully moving that play into New York City called The Shot. So my hope is that the play, all the plays that we do have lives that, after our productions.
And going in with that in mind, what goes into the balance of saying, okay, this will maybe the first time this is going, or the second time after an initial trying out of you, it's getting a lot of love as it goes along the way because it's the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the baby.
Yeah, people love to be in on the ground level and watch a piece they haven't seen before, or they're not familiar with. Doing new plays is hard. You've got to work with you have the writer in the room. And for me, being an actor for 30-something years in New York City, being in the room with the writer and the director and all the cast, and at the end of the day, the writer saying, pencils up. Let's change that line. David Mamet, Jez Butterworth, and John Colvinbeck, and many others who I've worked with. That was for an actor. That's the most exciting thing you can have happen is your socks go up and down because the changes are coming in. You're creating a role, and that's what we try to do with Great Barrington Public Theater is have new plays, have the writer with us. Mark St. Germain has done a couple of his new premieres with us over the past couple of years, and make the play work and make the play better and work on it.
Peggy, you were nodding enthusiastically as Jim was talking about having the writer in the room.
It's a privilege, really. You don't usually get that, and to create a new work and with the creator, the writer. It all starts with the writing, obviously, and they're right there, and they can address the problem as it comes up and fix it, and you get to ask them questions, and there's just nothing more exciting than creating new work.
Are there downsides to that ever?
Well,
I'm not trying to make trouble
getting
here. I'm
pages,
just asking.
Getting new pages of script, 2 hours before you go on is usually a little stressful, but it's okay because it's exciting. You certainly can't phone it in when you are creating something that immediate.
Is there a stronger connection between, let's say, as you said, sometimes the playwright isn't around, but when you have the playwright present, does that make for a deeper connection with the director? The director and the writer are working together?
Sure. Oftentimes the director and the playwright are working in the weeks and months prior to the first rehearsal in the editorial aspect of the play, shaping it, working on the play, feedback going back and forth. So that's a really big part of it. And then, of course, in the rehearsal room, the actors are part of that equation. And it's always very exciting to have the writer in the room where you're working on the piece. It's just it's a great advantage, and it's something that we always try to do. Sometimes the writer doesn't want to change much in the script, and that's their prerogative as a playwright. Or there might be a small tweak here and there, or a word or a sentence or a phrase that comes out, or there may be. But generally, there aren't the big structural changes in the rehearsal period. Those are just too hard to implement. But that, like I said, that's the writer's prerogative.
We are out of time, but I want folks to know that the Great Barrington Public Theater and their season begins tonight, June 15th, runs through August 27th. You can find out more by going to greatbarringtonpublictheater.org. Peggy and Jim, thank you so much. Have a beautiful season, and thanks so much for sharing with us.
Thanks, Joe.
Great to be on.
We'll be